So, Miss Schofield, newly enjoying teaching A-level literature, but think back to when you were a student as a woman of the millennial generation, a time when obviously we have so many other distractions. You've got your social media, you've got 24/7 streaming, Netflix and all that sort of stuff. What prompted you to take A-level Lit?
What, other than to escape the existential dread of humanity and escape all of the social media out there and all the terrible fake news?
Very good answer.
Mainly because I'm a massive nerd, but also because I absolutely love studying the absolute intensity of the world and how all of our emotions intermingle into one throughout culture, throughout history.
And you can get everything within a book.
Pretty much everything is there in a book.
Totally agree, everything within a book.
What about you? I mean, it must have been pretty different growing up in the Victorian era.
It was. Obviously, we didn't have all the streaming or the internet or anything like that. When I was a child, you basically read books by candlelight and that was it. But what I got out of it is because it was such a turbulent time anyway, but you couldn't actually go out and see it. You couldn't travel. You couldn't go and do anything and see the outside world. So you got people to do it for you. And by reading the texts and seeing what was going out there, it gave you more of an insight into what was happening. As you said about the human condition and the existential crisis of that particular time, which was immense anyway, but also to see different interpretations. You said that you were a nerd. I'm a massive geek. I still am. Ask the kids that I teach today, and I randomly quote stuff at. But I think reading is so important. I'm 107. I still read for 30 minutes every night before I go to bed because it's ingrained in me. It's what I do. And I think as a reader, you take English literature. There's no two ways about it.
Absolutely. And if you are really interested in political issues, social issues, culture as a whole, everything that we all experience, you should be taking literature. If you love reading stories, if you love telling stories and thinking about the way that we present ourselves in life, then literature is something that we should all.
And we've discussed this before, that the idea about telling stories is intrinsic to us as humans.
It is.
For millennia, whether it's through the oral tradition or whether we first, the first monkeys picked up a pen and started writing, it is intrinsic to us as humans, that sharing, connecting through stories.
Absolutely.
And you get all of that in English Lit.
Yep, and more.
And more.
Okay, right, so, do you like exploring the human condition like Shakespeare? Or perhaps you like to be in love with the beauty and the complexity of language like Wilde? Or maybe you just believe that literature illuminates social issues just like Duffy?
And as persons or people, are you fiery and passionate like Cathy and Heathcliff? Or are you a more logical and methodical person like the conscientious Jane from Jane Eyre? Or do you actually capture the zeitgeist like Bridget herself? If you fit into any of those categories and you read books, come and see us in English literature.